Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here, and I am here today with Nord's brand new Nord Grand piano. Now this is something that professional pianists and stage musicians have been waiting for a long time, and we finally have it. The perfect marriage between the absolute best stage piano in the industry in terms of piano sounds, a Kawai key action. Now there's two types of key actions that Kawai builds. They build wood and plastic. There's a real reason for using real wood, but I won't get into that now. But basically, when you do use real wood, Kawai uses real wooden key sticks, just like they use in their concert grand pianos. They're long, so they're not going to be able to be put into something in this size case. And the weight, there's a lot of weight when you're using wooden key sticks. So, to keep the weight low and to keep these as performing pianos, this one, the Nord NP4 or Nord Piano 4, and the Nord Grand can be gigged with. They're portable. 40 pounds on the Nord Piano 4 and 45 pounds on the Nord Grand. And the reason I'm comparing the two of these is this Nord Grand does not replace the Nord Piano 4. It's a new addition to the Nord line. Okay? Now, let's get back to the keys again. The highest quality plastic keyboard action that Kawai builds is the RH3. And it's found in their own ES8 and MP7 SE models, as well as in a few of their console models. That is such a beautiful action that it's even better than a lot of the wood models from other manufacturers. You really have to try one, but it's not a stock off-the-shelf Kawai RH3. This one is specialized for the Nord, and it has a new name. It is the RHN, which of course the N stands for Nord. So you've got the Kawai RHN keyboard action in here now. It's got ivory touch feel on the keys, and I have so much more control over what I play when I'm playing softly than when I'm playing with some other keyboard. And I have to urge you to get out there and try this action. It's going to be similar to Kawai's RH3 in their ES8 or MP7 SE. So if you go to your retailer and they don't have a Nord Grand, try one of those two Kawai models. It's going to be close. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what's new. Besides, the case is a little bit different. Notice how it comes up, and it's got a slant here for all the controls. You've got a flat surface. That's one of the things that you'll notice here. The usable area is about 6.5 inches. And the same thing here. Flat surface, usable area, 6.5 inches. Not quite big enough to put a laptop computer on there, but you do have room to put some things on here. I wouldn't advise putting your beer or your coffee on this. Too beautiful a unit to do that. Now, as far as the front panel goes on each, they've rearranged it because on this you have less than 3 inches to work with for all of these knobs and buttons. Whereas on this, you've got a lot more room. So this, they've put in 4 inches by 18 inches, and they put all the knobs and buttons and controls on that, and the LCD screen. On the Nord Grand, again, because they didn't have that room, they're working with 2.5 inches by 30 inches. And they did a super job with that. They spread it out more. It actually looks easier to read than this. This is bunched together. I got used to it though. Now the display, the program console, the main display right here, this is on the left side on the Nord Piano 4, followed by the piano section and the sample synth section. So let's take those three and look at what they've done here. They've moved the piano and sample synth to the left, and then they took the program section and put that with the LCD in the middle, where it makes more sense. And between the sample synth and that, they've broken up the control section even more to give you a separate strip for transpose and keyboard splits and for setting up splits. So it's more functional that way. Then the effects 1 and effects 2 are the same as they are in each. It's just spread out a little bit different. Okay. Then you'll notice you have a delay and an equalizer on the MP4. What they've done is they've combined the delay and equalizer into one section, but broke that off into 2 subsections. Much nicer. And I like the equalizer where 4 knobs are all next to each other, as opposed to 3 vertical and 1 off to the side. Although that makes sense because the 1 off to the side is the mid-range sweep. But here, you do the same thing. Then the amp and compressor and the reverb section, all the same, just rearranged slightly differently so it can compensate for going horizontal rather than vertical. Okay, and then we come over here and we got a couple of new things here. We have a panel lock, which means once I engage this, the light goes on, I can't change anything. It says panel locked. You don't need that for the Nord Piano 4 because when you're playing, it's going to be pretty hard for you to accidentally touch a knob or a button over there. Over here, since it's sloped and up, and I have long fingers, I found frequently I'm trying to play something and I hit one of the buttons and it changes everything, and you don't want to do that in the middle of a performance. So that panel lock comes in very handy. Let me turn that off for now. Alright, then they borrowed this nice display from the Nord Stage series. This is for piano right here. So right now Grand is lit up. And let me just go over here with Grand pianos. Grand is lit, so whatever piano I want to go ahead and choose, it's all going to be grand pianos. And if I go to the next one, it's upright. It's all going to be upright pianos. And the next one is electrics. It's all going to be electrics, then clavinets, and then digitals and miscellaneous. That's real nice. You can do the same thing here, but you have to go through a menu to do it. It's a little more cumbersome. It can be done, but this is so much more elegant and so much more simple. I love that. I'm glad they brought that over. Okay, and that's pretty much it as far as what the differences are physically and button-wise. Another big difference. The Nord Grand has twice the piano memory size that the Nord Piano 4 has. And that's really nice because they just put out a new sample, the White Grand. And I did a demo of that. I'll put a link in the description. It's so wonderful. It's their best piano to date. But their extra large version, and it comes in 4 versions, but I always use the extra large because I want all the resolution. I want everything. Every detail and every note is handled separately or was recorded separately. The string resonance is beautiful. So I like the XL versions. And of course, it's going to sound the same on this. When you buy a Kawai, a real Kawai piano, all you're going to get is Kawai piano samples on it. Same thing with Yamaha. You're only going to get Yamaha piano samples on it, and Bosendorfer because Yamaha owns Bosendorfer. So, but when you get a Nord, you're going to get everything, and sampled for Nord specifically. So it's not going to be some off-the-shelf Steinway or Yamaha. You've got Steinways here, and Yamahas, and Faziolis, and Kawais, and a whole bunch more. And that was just the, that White Grand was just the Steinway B that I showed you. If I go to the next one, I've got a Royal Grand 3D, which was a Yamaha, I can't remember which one. And that was my favorite up until now. So if you're like me and you have a Nord Piano 4 or before or its predecessor, in order to make room, I would get rid of the Royal Grand 3D. Even though it was my favorite, that White Grand is just so much better. So you don't have to spend time figuring out what you want to get rid of. That's what you would get rid of. Here's the Royal Grand. And then, of course, there's the Bosendorfer, which is known for its solid bottom end. I just love that, and so I would keep the Bosendorfer in here. But getting back to the White Grand, even though it's not quite that deep in the bass, it's there when you want it. All you have to do is give it a little more pressure. In fact, it's more defined. The White Grand is more defined everywhere across the board, and it's also an excellent, their best sounding to date in mono. So when you turn this in mono, you're going to cut through the band. I wouldn't recommend playing a Bosendorfer when you're jamming with a band, because you're going to step all over the bass player. So overall, my impression with this, it is the Rolls Royce of stage pianos. If you are a pianist, you have about 268 other sounds to this. Not just piano and claves and all that, but the sample synth section. And the other nice thing about owning a Nord is you get free updates to their samples for life. This Nord White Grand just came out a few days ago, and I downloaded it to my pianos, and it is just like getting a brand new piano or stage piano for free. Prior to that, it was the Royal Grand, and when I downloaded that was a couple of years ago. Also, just like getting a brand new piano. And before that, it was the Fazioli, and then all these other things. So it's really cool. Also, if you're considering a Kawai, I think I did a test once. Yes. Dig that up, put the link in. I did the Kawai ES8 and the Nord Silver piano and compared the two because they are both Kawai samples. A little bit different model, but pretty much the same. And that was an interesting one too. So for those who love Kawai actions and they love Kawai piano sounds, the Nord will handle that and give you everything else. Steinway, Bosendorfer, Fazioli, Yamaha. Everything is there and more. And it's the easiest thing in the world to layer. All I have to do is just turn the sample synth section on. And we can control the level. Now, we can do that with a expression pedal as well. And we can assign that expression pedal to either the sample synth section or the piano, or both. It's so easy to use, and you don't need menus. I mean, how many pianos I have tried to play where I want to do that, and I have to go into a menu to accomplish that. And it also comes with Nord's triple pedal. If you wanted to buy this on your own, because it doesn't come with the Nord Stage series, it's not cheap. And it's a wonderful pedal. It supports half damping. And not only that, it supports pedal noises, which I have turned off. But some people like that. When you press on the pedal, the dampers lift, the noise that it makes it just sound so much more authentic. But there's some pieces that maybe you don't want to have that. The back panel on each is the same. They're identical. Got the power switch, the expression pedal input, the sustain pedal, the one that supports any sustain pedal pretty much, or half damper, or the Nord triple pedal that came with it. It's got USB, MIDI over USB as well. It has your standard legacy MIDI in and MIDI outs. And it's got your monitor in, which is a 1/8 inch TRS stereo, so that you can plug in your iPod or your MP3 player or whatever, so you can jam along to that. And then you've got your standard left and right line outputs. And then you've got a standard 1/4 inch TRS stereo headphone jack. And that's pretty much it for the differences. So you understand why I had to compare against the Nord Piano 4, because this shows it doesn't replace it, it adds to it. Now the pricing on this in the United States, the Nord Piano 4 is currently $2,999, and the Nord Grand is $3,499. So $500 difference. Basically $3,000 and $3,500. And if you are a serious pianist like me, I mean, I'm not a concert pianist or anything like that, but I do take my craft seriously. This is quite the investment. And I find myself being so creative on this because the player connection to this is so convincing to me. And I just cannot emphasize the new Kawai RH in action in this. It's just, do yourself a favor. Get to your retailer or any place that you can get your hands on one of these. It is so good. I guarantee it won't disappoint. So hopefully this has brought you up to date about what the Nord Grand is all about. Stay tuned. There'll be more videos coming. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.